when I do croak, I have friends who have made their transition. Will I recognize them? Will I know my mother? Will I know my friends that have already moved on?
Yes and no, but here's what we mean by this. That completely depends upon how inside the vortex you are consistently before you croak. In other words, if you hang around in attitudes of worry and concern, if you beat the drum like so many humans do, where you empathize with problems and you worry about things and you criticize things, then, and you're asking that question, well, my friends and I used to all hang around together, and that was sort of the basis of our conversations. When you reemerge into non-physical, you're going to leave all of that behind as they did, and so it's a whole different part of them that you're going to rendezvous with. In other words, they're not sitting around complaining. And so the reason that we're playing with this just a little bit is because we want to use this as an opportunity to tease you about when you ask that question, how are you thinking about your mother? In other words, are you remembering your mother as confident and knowing and loving? Or do you remember her as insecure? Or do you remember her as worried about you? You see what we're getting?
A little of each, yeah.
That's why we said yes and no. When Esther had her first conversation with her father once he made his transition, she said, Abraham, is that you pretending to be my father? Because he was so positive. And it's like he knew stuff. And he was thrilled with being dead. And knew things about her that he never talked about before. In other words, he left all of his resistance behind, and his personality changed.
Wow. Okay.
Have you ever known anyone whose personality changed? Doesn't happen very often, does it? They're sort of pretty much the way you always knew them to be, because they keep beating those same old drums. And so you go back to your 20th, 30th, 40th, 50th, 60th, oh, we'll stop being mean, class reunion, and they look different, but you can find them by their attitude, usually. What else?
That's really it. That's what I wanted to know.
So do you have to, here's an even better question.
Okay.
Taking off of your wonderful question, of course.
Thank you.
Your question was, when I reemerge, will I know them?
Yes.
And the answer to that really is yes, because when you reemerge, you'll be who you really are. You see, while you were friends or while you were acquaintances, you were creating all of these wonderful vibrational escrows together. This is really worth thinking about. You were creating all of these wonderful vibrational escrows together. And as you are creating these vibrational escrows, they become your future realities. So when you reemerge into non-physical, there you all are. The best of that, the best that life caused you to be is what's there, you see. And then as you make your decisions to reemerge again, many times it's from those same vantage points. So the thing that we wanted to play with you about a little bit is that it's a wonderful question, when I reemerge, will I recognize them? But we want to say, you don't have to reemerge to recognize them. You can tune yourself to the vibrational frequency of what's in your vibrational escrow before you croak. You can rendezvous with them. And when you do, they've got ideas right now about things that are important to you. That's why, how often do you hear people say, my father is helping me with my business? How often do you hear people say, my mother is there for me and she had the most clever idea, or the surgeon said, I felt like I was being guided. My hands were being guided in some extraordinary way. Well, all that means is they were without enough resistance that they got in the vortex where all of that is. And when you're in there, you don't have to be dead to be in there. That's really worth knowing. You don't have to croak to get into your vibrational reality. You can tune yourself there. It's the whole point of the art of allowing. Tuning yourself to your vibrational reality so that that which you've called your heaven can be your heaven on earth.
Beautiful.
It is.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed.